Hi there. Today we're going to look at inheritance and how you can use inheritance within C# and how you can take advantage of it within Unity. I've seen on quite a few people on forums, I've seen quite a few people asking about inheritance and how it can be used within Unity, and it seems a lot of people have a very clear idea about it, so I'm just going to show you what you can do with it today in Unity. So we'll start off with our normal class. This is what many of you will be familiar with whenever you create a new C# class. So see, this is called base class, and it derives from mono behavior, which I'm sure you've all seen before. The only thing on here that you wouldn't have seen is that I've put these protected in front of the void update and void start, and you'll see why I've done that in a second. But this is a fairly typical script. So we've got a public string name. As you can see there, that appears in the inspector, which has got Bob. And then we just log into the console, log in base class start and base class update. And if we run this, we get exactly what you'd imagine we would. Got base class start, and we're calling base class update plus the name Bob. Yeah. So let's look at another one then. So this child class here, now this derives from the base class which we've just seen. And let's get rid of them a sec. And you see here, so what we've got a public int age, and again we'll log into the console, child class start and child class update. Now, first of all, if we just get rid of here and we put in child class, and you see the child class, even though we haven't specified public string name, that's only on our base class, but because our child class derives from our base class, we still pick it up. And in fact, we can still use it anywhere. You can see if I begin typing name, the IntelliSense will pick it up. And we can just use it as a normal variable. But let's have in here, we've got start and update methods. Now, if we play it, you can see here we're getting our child class update methods getting called, our child class start methods getting called, but our base class methods, they're no longer getting called, they've been overridden. Now, depending on how you want to use inheritance, it might not be a problem. The variables you have in your base class might not need to be manipulated in an update method or a start method, and they might be fine, but you might have variables in there that do need to be manipulated. Well, it's not a problem. Fortunately, you can just type base, and this is reference. So as soon as you type base, this references the class it's derived from, and then we can just tell it to start. Now, this wouldn't have worked unless I'd put these protected keywords in there. You can see on the child class as well, I've also had to put new to override them basically. But yeah, I've had to put protected here. And this protected just means that anything that derives from it can also use it. So, call base.start here, and we'll call base.update here. There we go. So now, when we play this, you can see here our base class update method's getting called, and so is our child class, and it's the same with the start method. Base class start method getting called, so is the child class start method called. So we can still keep all our start and update methods, and we can still use inheritance. And then just to show that this all works, I've got another one here called child2, which derives from child. Just let me put in the base.start and base.update. That little key symbol there as well, that's just because it's protected. That's all that means. Go back, and now if we put child2 in here, you can see that everything's getting called. Our base class start method getting called, our child class start method getting called, our child2 class method getting called, and then all the updates are getting called, our base class, our child class, and our child2 class. And then you can see even on the child2 class, we've inherited from child, which inherits from base class, and so even though we haven't used name, we can still use it, even though it's not in this within this class itself. It hasn't come up there. I don't know why, but it does work. You can see it's there. We've got name, and if we look at the child2 bit, it's coming up Bob and 25. So now let's have a look at an example where. A real world example where we might actually use it, and this is another, and we can show off another really nice feature of inheritance here. Let's load up the script. Okay, so here I've got a vehicle class. It's an abstract class. If you're not familiar with the abstract keyword, I'd definitely recommend going off and reading about it and learning about it. An abstract class means it can't be implemented. It's only part of a class, so something should derive from it. So you can see here we've got our abstract class vehicle. It contains a string, vName, float, vSpeed, and then we've got an abstract method here, void shoot. It doesn't actually implement anything. All that means is that if anything derives from vehicle, it has to implement a shoot method, which returns void and takes no parameters. And then we've got another one here, public string get name. Okay, so if we look at another two, right? So from vehicle, we're going to have a normal tank and we're going to have a large tank. I've just called them tank and type large. And you see here, I put public override shoot, and then whenever it gets told to shoot, it'll just log to the console its type, and it will log shoot as well. Now the reason why we might want to do this is because vehicles will shoot different things. It could be a rocket launcher, it could be a double barrel tank, single barrel. The shoot method, it could do quite a lot of different things. And then so rather having one class say, right, if it's this, do this, or if it's this, do this, just let its own particular class just say, right, just do this, and we just tell it to shoot. So we get rid of a lot of if statements there. So yeah, we're getting shoot. We've got another method on tank that says got child name. You can see on tank large, again we've got another arm large tank, it just says hello. But we've also got another shoot method, and again we'll just log in this type, string shoot. Okay, now what would happen in a real game is that you'd have something controlling it, and you'd be having something telling this tank when to shoot. And so you'd have a manager. And see here I've got a vehicle manager here. Now this vehicle manager, we have a variable of type vehicle, so that's of this type, this abstract class, and that's just called vehicle. And you can see at the beginning here we set vehicle equal to get component of type vehicle. Now on our cube, this is our tank simulation, so here we've got our vehicle manager, but then we've just got the tank large script. We don't have the vehicle script attached to it. So let's see what happens. So I'm there, press the space bar, you can see it's coming up, tank large shoot. So it's obviously working. And if I take this off and I put the normal tank on, and I now press spacebar, you can see there it's just saying tank shoot. So how this works is that even though there's no vehicle on here, if anything derives from vehicle, such as tank and tank large, you can still get hold of it. Now the only downside really to doing this is that you can then only use the methods in the abstract class. So if I come down here, so we're in our update method, so if I say vehicle dot, now it derived from mono behavior, which is why it's picking up a lot of these other methods, but so you see I've got my shoot method, IntelliSense is picking that up. I also had another method called get name, and you can see that comes up. The only thing I don't get is the methods that tank and tank large implement themselves, which are defined in this vehicle. So you see that I won't get an armor large tank method, and I won't get a get child name method. Right, you know, just try and show it. Get child, no, nothing comes up there. I'm large tank, I think the other one was again, nothing comes up. So that's a really, really nice feature about inheritance. You know, we can tell a lot of different types of scripts to do the same thing with very little code. And so it's great for maintainability, it's great for updatability, and it makes things easier to read. I'll say if you ever did start working in the industry as well, I got a new job as a C#.NET developer about 4 weeks ago. All I've been learning about is how to code to standards, and if you can see on any commercial project, it'll be full of inheritance. So it's definitely something worth getting grips with. And as you can see, it's very powerful within Unity. You can still keep your update methods. It's very, very powerful indeed. Well, thanks for watching.